Hello everyone who is just sitting on a boat in the ocean and is tragically unarmed. For now, I am BorderWise and welcome back to From the Depths, the build menu walkthrough. So this is going to be an exciting one because we're doing simple weapons. Weapons which are simple, kind of, hopefully, sort of. In any case, we're doing something fun this time because, well, we've got a ship, and the goal is to stick every simple weapon possible on it and explain as we go in order. So without further ado, let's get into it. This is probably not going to be an optimal setup of any of these weapons, just a heads up. There are optimal ways to use all of them. You're not going to see that today, but I will be listing examples off the top of my head of good stuff in action. So, to start off with, top left corner, rams. Pretty simple. The ram is a block that, depending on the collision speed of whatever it is you're doing, it will do, collision damage, or thump damage. So, if we wanted to be a complete silly person, we can do something like this, and just put rams at the front, which has the double benefit of, if we collide with something, hopefully, if we collide with it just nice and steady, will damage it and it won't damage us, because these things are immune to collision damage, thank goodness. By the way, we have everything we need in here to just get this rudimentary boat going. We've got ammo, we've got propulsion, we've got an AI, we've got engines, we even have pole armor specifically to annoy Sean the developer. There's no reason to do that, it's just poles are, well, very lazy options, and I am lazy today. So just to demonstrate how these things work, let's just turn that off just in case, and we will get a brave test subject. Let's go, let's go, set that to minimum, and we're going to spawn in our friend the Marauder. Actually, let's put you right there, and let's spawn in a Marauder, and just turn that all off. Alright, so now, I need to somehow set this thing a-rolling. I'm just going to get my friend lined up, and there we go. And if we go full steam ahead, hopefully we actually do hit rams first. It's going to be awkward if we don't do that. A little bit of steering, and boom! We actually did a fair amount of damage. Hooray! And look at that. So rams can be just that simple. If you really want to get creative with them, though, let's just delete that Marauder. What you can do is you can mount them on spin blocks. So if we go here and say we have something like, oh, I don't know, say a heavy armor thing right here, like so, and then we go find the simple weapons again. Where is it? We will be going over sub-objects in more detail in the future, and we have something like this. And then here's the critical thing, you need to set that to continuous, and they do need some motor drive in order to do anything. In times gone by, you could just have a completely unpowered spin block, just going at full tilt like this, and that would do a huge amount of damage. That is not the case anymore. If you want this to do damage, you do need to set a little bit of motor drive on it. And how much power does that need? That uses about 1,000, and that would do a crap ton of damage. I should probably demonstrate this, shouldn't I? So let's do this and spawn in our friend the Marauder again. Just as a kind of, I don't know, just as a nice demo, so to speak. So let's do something like this. Let's use poles, because again, annoy Sean the Dev. Sean the Dev works really hard, does not deserve to be made fun of in any way, but here we go. So now we're going to just spawn in our friend the Marauder over here. Please spawn in front of us. I'm going to be really upset if you don't do that. There you go. Turn you off, and if we go full tilt, well, not full tilt, just a little bit like so. And we'll see how much damage this actually does. Actually, let's... Oh, there's rams on the front there. I kind of forgot about that. Right. So this is what happens when ram collide with ram. But now we're just going... And now forward! Quick! Go for the uppercut! You know you want to. Hooray! So that is very little power to get this kind of destruction. So, yeah, rams are a very good, simple weapon. They do jolly good work, and you can do terrible things to marauders, which is always funny. Alright, now I'm going to repair our friend here, and I'm going to get rid of the spinny thing, because, like, I prefer using rams, like, just for this. I'm not really a fan of melee vehicles in general, but if you want a melee vehicle, rams are just an all-round solid choice. Back to the simple weapons menu. Then moving along, you get something a little bit more interesting, the drill. So, drills are powered, so they're like rams, but powered, which means you don't need to make your vehicle or the thing the ram, the piece is sitting on, go super fast. So yeah, let's see if we can get a basic drill going over here. I'm gonna leave the rams here because that's fun. I never play with these, so this is going to be funny. So if I'm here, drill extension. So you've got the drill, which is the main part of it. You've got the extension, which extends out from the main drill to the bits that do damage. You've got a small drill bit, large, huge, and there's actually a prefab here that I could just slap. Torque amplifier increases armor pierce of the drill at the cost of rotation speed and more damage. You've got the extension splitter, allows you to attach multiple drill bits onto the same drill, and adds power to add kinetic energy to the drill. So, rather than building this all from scratch, I'm going to slap a pre-made drill on here. And then we are going to drive into the Marauder. Very slowly. That looks safe. Okay then, let's spawn in our friend the Marauder again. Where'd you go? Where did you go? There you are. Alright, so now, just gonna do this, because this is quicker. Please rotate ye faster. So now, we don't need to go fast at all. Right, go forth. Go forth, show damage drill do. Whoops, a little bit slower. Just a smidge, just a little bit. Steering is important. I'm forgetting literally every single button. Ah, no, I'm reversing. I don't want that. Steer, 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 steer. Just 5%. Steery, 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 steery. Should have put turning props on this, but I did not. So once you set up a drill, something like this, let's just examine this. So what do we got here? We got the main drill piece. It is attached to power inputs, and attached to some torque amplifiers. So these things attach pretty much normal size. You can just make a cube of drill bits. Then you got the extensions and the splitters, and then you got 3x3 drills. And incidentally, people do use this as anti-pierce armor because you have like 30,000 health and 60 armor in one block. So yeah, like people have been using those armor. Word on the grapevine, the devs are onto us, and they're going to change that. Let's just go a little bit this way. And drill goes... Num, 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 num. So drills can do huge amounts of damage. The downside is that drills also do kind of like... It is like a little bit more fiddly to set up than a ram, and they require power just as, well, a spinning ram on a spin block does. The good news is that because this doesn't have to be on a spin block, it is potentially less laggy. That's the idea at least. So, yeah, gotta go there. Oopsie daisy. So we're just going to remove this, and we are going to have collision proofing. So I'm going to use drills in the way that they're kind of naughty, not supposed to be used. Just so we have them over here. We're gonna do this, and this is also going to make our boat very heavy. Oh, look at that, we're actually down in the water. Neat! I should probably put turning rods on this. So, this is not, like, optimal drill usage at all, even if you're just using them as armor, but we're putting them on there just so we don't forget that we have drills here. And it also kind of looks like the shields on a Viking longship, and that's pretty cool. Alright, so drills, that's all the drills. Now we got the Age of Sail cannons, which is these 4 things right here. So all of these are kind of similar. The only difference is the cost and the stats, and you can read them right there. We've got a 16-pounder cannon, horribly inaccurate, lots of kinetic damage, but very little armor piercing. And yeah, so the 16-pounder, 32-pounder, similar thing except somewhat more muzzle velocity, more ammo use, longer range as well. So this has 1,200 meters range, this has 1,500. Slightly more armor piercing, 3,500 kinetic damage versus 8. Slower reload, and then you've got the 64-pounder cannon, which is just kind of renders these things kind of superfluous as well. By the way, when we're talking about all of these things here, they are more compact firepower than advanced cannons, but they are more expensive. Basically, in terms of volume, simple weapons tend to beat out advanced cannons any day of the week, but in terms of actual cost effectiveness, they are worse. They are here mostly for the newer players to get the hang of the game and like focus on other things like setting up local weapon controls and AIs and stuff, and these things just kind of shoot. So we've got these cannons like so, and we need to set them up correctly. So brace yourself for some speedy up footage while I do just that, and we're going to need some superstructure for this. Okay, we have a crap ton of simple weapons. And I just remembered I should probably copy-paste this over here. There we go. So, time to explain a little bit what I've done here. So, we've got the 16-pounder, 32-pounder, and 64-pounder cannons all on the sides here, all very Age of Sail style, although, to be perfectly honest, this looks more like a... it looks more like a monitor than anything else, because, I don't know, monitors are cool. Or the monitor, I guess. Because there was one. That looks a little bit better. Sorry, couldn't help myself, had to build some more. Alright, so, how I've done this, just as an aside, we've got the all-in-one local weapon controllers here, which is, you would remember from the AI section, we've got these things. I have set them to control 4 cells left and right, so each one of these local weapon controllers, which, by the way, this is a terrible way to protect them. Like, touching heavy armor is just begging to get EMP'd, usually. I'm doing this for the sake of convenience, and because this is a silly boat done for silly entertainment and educational purposes. This thing is controlling 4 guns on either side, and there is some redundancy here, so it's very nice. You have to bear in mind that the default accuracy for these simple weapons is pretty terrible. As I was building this, it occurred to me that their accuracy is horrendous anyway, so it's not a huge deal. And also, just note that the 64-pounder guns, their effective range is about 2,000 meters. They can barely hit anything in that distance anyway, so all of these local weapon controllers are set up to favor the 8-pounder or 16-pounder guns. I don't think 8-pounder guns are a thing, but they'll be very small. So let us test this now. I should also set up firing restrictions here. Doesn't really matter at all. I can do that later if I so choose. So let's spawn in our friend the Marauder. Just over, let's put you 200 meters away. Actually, we should put you 1,200 meters away and just show just how horribly inaccurate these things are. So there's Marauder, and there is rudimentary detection, slightly offset to be able to see forward and backwards a bit more. Marauder has missed. How will you do? So guns are all horribly inaccurate. And as you can see, we just got a nice volley of shellfire going in. The accuracy is bad. It does not help, though, that our... what do we call it? That our detection is currently not very good either. It is really rudimentary. I do want to see these 32-pounder guns fire. Let's see. Can they do it? No, the 64-pounder guns have a little bit of limited traverse, so let's just scooch forward a little bit. Thank goodness for God mode. And there's the 64-pounder guns by the looks of it. There we go. Steering our friend around there. All good. You can see that the trajectory of the 64-pounder guns is a lot flatter. We are still barely doing anything to this Marauder, because although each one of those cannonballs has pretty good kinetic damage, the armor piercing is terrible. To give you an idea how terrible, just going to, whoops, Rambot, set. So even the, where's the 64-pounder? There it is. So the 64-pounder gun, its armor piercing is 10. 32-pounder is 8. And the armor piercing of the 16-pounder is 5. Wood has 8 armor. So, the 32-pounder does full damage to wood, only barely. The 64-pounder does a little bit, well, the 10 is a pretty terrible armor piercing to begin with, because it means that it only does about 25% damage to metal. So, anything that's not made out of, like, cardboards and hopes and dreams is going to shrug off these shells pretty handily. So you see, we're not getting the same kind of damage numbers that we would get off just rams or something like that. And yeah, these things are most effective at close range in huge massed volleys. So there is that. All right then. Now let's talk about this thing over here, the revolving blast gun. This is really damn close range. Because it fires several bullets at once. Good damage, but highly inaccurate. Like, they are not kidding. The spread is, well, the dispersion is right there on the tooltip. It's 7.5 degrees, and this can actually do a lot of damage at very short range, to the point that the best use of this is as a bomber. You make a small flying thing, flies directly over the top of something, and where's the effective range? It's about 5,500 meters? That doesn't seem right. You're not going to hit anything at that range with this anyway. But, what we can do is... what can we do here? We're going to... this thing does rotate a little bit. We are just going to, for giggles, put little asymmetric... we're going to have a little asymmetric turret right here, in our infinite wisdom. So we're going to go right here. Asymmetry is good. Shout out to Roston VT, who hates simple weapons, but he does like asymmetry, so maybe this will placate him somewhat. Just going to have a 1-axis turret, maybe a 2-axis turret, 1-axis turret. Click! Oh, we did not immediately jump onto it. Very good. We should probably make that a 2-axis turret, honestly. And we're going to set this to a very short range. Is that controlling anything other than what we want? Nope. So 2-axis turret right there, and we're going to take our little revolving blast gun, put it right there. And to give you an idea of what this kind of looks like, actually, let's not do that. Let's do that, and we're just going to put our friend the Marauder Right. Just gonna turn this off. This thing is also really loud, by the way, so mind your ears. Alright, so there we go, and... So that's what that looks like. Horrible spread. Horrible, horrible. Honestly, 500 meters is a bit generous for it. And it's got a 60-second reload time, so this takes approximately 1 million billion years to reload, or 60 seconds if I've decided not to exaggerate. But it dumps like 300 little shells all at once. So even at this range, it's pretty inaccurate. Which is why, like, this is almost a melee weapon. Kind of. Sort of. Not really. Is it ever going to fire again, I wonder? Let's get all guns firing. Why not? Whee! Circle at close range. Close range, me hearts. Cheerily, me hearts, sail forth. Because I can't be bothered to wait an entire minute for this. Whee! Not gonna lie, the Age of Sail guns are really fun, and I am having a good time here. Alright, so... Oh, dang it. The blast gun finally reloaded. No! Anyway, moving on. So now we have the laser. So this is the only hit-scan weapon in the entire game which uses ammunition as opposed to engine power or battery power. So it actually has a pretty neat little niche. And they're not... I don't really see them used that often, because once you get the hang of, like, actual lasers, these little things, they kind of lose their effectiveness. They are nice and compact. I will say that. They are quite handy-dandy for that. And these all but require 2-axis turrets, so it's also going to be merry hell if I do this. I probably should set a... I am going to have a secondary AI for this. So, brace yourself for a nice little tangent. So just going to... What do we need there? Nothing. I'm going to put my handy-dandy prefab in here. Control... Where is the... Laser... Laser control AI. So, this is very specifically set up to control a laser. That is not what I'm looking for. Okay, nope. Gotta set this, yes. So, brand new laser, and the important thing is that... Whoop, let's not sail off into the distance. Stop, I command you. Go over here. This is jumping ahead a little bit in terms of, like, what this is covering. Let's just call this mainframe main. Main. Not the state. And we've got main, we've got laser. So, hit Q on detection. You'll see these default settings work just okay for most projectile weapons in general, but for lasers or any other kind of hit scan thing, you want to set it to this. 1.1.1, because hit scan weapons do not need to leave the target that much. Very important. Okay, so now we're just going to go over here. So there's the thing. Let's go over here, and we're going to set the range for this to be about, let's say, we're going to set it to about 490 to ensure that it actually has a chance of shooting something, because the range of this is only 500 meters, and does not damage projectiles, missiles, etc. So you cannot have really basic CWIS with these. These things, I believe, you can shoot down projectiles with. I haven't actually tested that, mostly because it's kind of a dumb idea, and probably wouldn't work very well. But I digress. So we've got that, and we're going to set this to be controlled by da laser. Not connect. It is now connected. This is connected. I'm going to turn main off, leave laser on, because we get to shoot things. And going to have... I really did go overboard on the Age of Sail stuff, didn't I? You know what? I'm going to do this. We're going to have not one, but two lasers. Multiple lasers for... Because, of course, our, a 19th century monitor needs laser defense from all the aircraft that were flying around. You know, just... You just gotta, right? Like, you know, all them 19th century aircraft which can only be shot down with lasers. Right, so there we go. And how many laser can we fit? Let's fit just one. And you can do that, you can do that, you can do that. You'll notice you cannot change the color of these things, which is a bit of a bummer. And you really do need to set the required accuracy of this way the hell down, because otherwise you're gonna have a very bad time. So these are also loud as hell. So you can imagine when a whole bunch of them all just let rip all at once, they kind of make a hell of a noise. So let's not do that, and we got that, very good. We're going to set that as a placeholder, and we are going to duct tape lasers all over the place. Please forgive the lack of firing restrictions. Right, now we got here, and you'll see that all of these are probably going to shoot each other. And we all got that kind of green thing. And that is part of the problem. That is part of the problem with simple lasers. Even with fail-safes, once they have started firing, they will keep firing until the burst stops. So you really got to be careful how you place them. I have not placed them very well at all. But here's the trick. If you want to, at this point in time, so this is, I'll just tell you the date that this is being recorded. This is June 2026. If the game has been updated by the time you're watching this, don't worry about it. You cannot directly control, change the colors of these lasers, but if you go here, you place an ACB. Remember ACBs back in the control video? I hope so. You go over here, weapons defenses, laser systems. You can set the color, and we can set the color to, ooh, what are we feeling like? This feels very blue, so you can go apply, and you can hit test, and then this should change the laser color to blue. We're going to set it to red, though. We're going to set it to red because that's fun. Let's actually set it to bright purple. Test, and see it again. Very good. And I believe if you do some fancy breadboard, you can change the size of those as well. And I'm just going to adjust the azimuth of these things because I feel like it. There we go. Are we going to set turret restrictions? Of course not. Why would we do something sensible? That sounds silly. Right. Da-da-da-da-da. Very good, very good. Our ship is coming together. It's coming together beautifully. Alright, so now we just got the laser, we got the main weapons turned off. Let us spawn about, 600 meters away. Let's spawn in a duster. Fly over me, why don't you? And now, we've got point defense. And good thing we've got God mode on, otherwise we'd keep making our own stuff. Right. While the duster is coming back and has bombed us horribly, let's talk about the next thing over here. The shard cannon. Not the shard cannon, that's different. So the shard cannon, purpose-built to fight glowy rocks found on airwork, slow firing, very accurate. This is one of the better simple weapons because its range is really good, and it's actually kind of accurate. So the dispersion is 0 degrees. And yeah, 3,000 meters range, actually has decent armor piercing, so these are tempting, but they are 1,000 materials per pop. For contrast, an advanced firing piece, and say the 4 inputs that can go on it, plus barrels, is, well, let's see, a 4-meter barrel is 80, plus 100, 180, 180 plus 200 is 380, so that makes a tiny little direct input fed APS, again skipping ahead a little bit, which will do basically the same thing as the shard cannon, but for much cheaper. So be wary of this, it's very, very expensive. But we're going to put some shard cannons on here, because why not? Come back, why don't you? And zap! Very good. So, fun fact, there was a brief moment in time when these simple lasers did not do laser damage. They did their own special kind of damage, which was immune to smoke and planar shields. That has been patched because they were actually kind of overpowered. Alrighty then, let's put some shard cannons on here. Let's put some shard cannons, and we basically don't need to change a damn thing about them, and they even have their own rotatey turrety block type thing, so that is very nice. So we're just going to put them, like, where are they? Let's just put them, like, so, let's see here. So, right, nope, we do need turrets for them. That is unfortunate for us. Whoops. Right, da-da-da, da-da-da. Thankfully, turrets are easy to do. Turrets are easy to do. Whoop. I'm learning things about the game here. I'm learning that if you replace a block with a turret, you don't automatically jump onto the turret. That's not the color I wanted. I wanted a different color. How dare you? I didn't want to delete that block. I wanted to replace it. Alright, so now we're here. Shard cannon. And we'll set that to 1. Set this to 1. And if actually, I'm going to set this to 3 for demonstration purposes. Pew! 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 Hooray! This is an expensive boat for how terrible it's going to be. And it's a nicely animated little block as well, which is very nice. Very nice indeed. Placeholder, and boop, boop. Where's the other one? There it is. Whoops. Hooray! And now if we put, say, oh, I don't know, let's put something a considerable distance away. Let's put a Marauder 2,000 meters away. And the shard cannon should hopefully be able to shoot it. At least 2 of them can. And they actually managed to hit the damn thing. That is amazing, isn't it? Let us adjust course just a little bit. And adjust course just a smidge. Just a smidge. And now all of them are firing. Beautiful. And we have no... Ah, there we go. Pew pew! Very slowly doing terrible damage to the Marauder. And by terrible damage, I mean... we're really not doing much damage at all, because it's 2,000 meters away, and we have no good detection on this, because that's coming later. No, it isn't. We already did detection. Aha! Right, shard cannon. Now we get down into the World War I, World War II style stuff. We are running out of room on this boat for this kind of thing. So now, naturally, we need more anti-air guns, because of course we do. These are basically advanced cannons in a little package form. So here we've got a 20mm little AA gun. So let's put this on the front here, because that sounds like fun. That sounds like fun. And they're very simple. Just make sure a local weapon controller is pointed at them. And there you go, pig. And what else? We got the little 50 caliber machine gun, which is hilarious. Some people actually swear by using this as CWIS. I personally don't think that's a good idea, but hey, whatever floats your boat. Let's have 2 of those. Let's just put them over there. The stats of these things, by the way, terrible. So, slightly better shot velocity than the Age of Sail guns. Armor piercing is still bad. Same with the 20mm AA gun. The main advantage of this is that its shot velocity is kind of decent, and it goes pew pew pew. So let's have a looky-see at that. We do need to set restrictions on these, because otherwise it would be very, very embarrassing for me. We're just going to do that, and we can copy, paste like so, and we can do as in it like so. This is another reason why simple weapons are a good idea, because it gives new player just an opportunity to mess around with stuff like this without worrying about it. Let's save our vehicle, because this is beautiful. It is a beautiful vehicle. Alright. Let's just turn off the lasers, and these are all set to main, because it's a projectile weapon, it should be fine. Incoming duster, let's say 1,000 meters away. And we've got horrible detection. But it's all good. Oh wow, that thing was a... Look at that! We are actually managing to ding it a little bit. Pew pew pew! We've actually managed to wing it in a way that now it is doing a death spiral. Well done, lads. Let's turn the lasers on just to... hopefully, hopefully kill this at some point in this century. This is why hit scan weapons are a really good idea. Even the lasers are having trouble, purple as they are. We do okay. We need some kind of bearing rangefinders for the love of peanuts, for the love of peanuts. Do not worry, I have a plan. I have an evil plan. Alright, we now have bearing rangefinders, which are bad. Bad but good. Okay then. Let's try that again. Let's see if our little guys can actually hit anything. Are you tracking the duster? Nope. Are you tracking the duster? You are tracking the duster. Wow, that is a wall of bullets. And the lasers, they have done it. Sizzle, sizzle. Perfect. Our funky thing is unstoppable, apparently. Alright, so that's those little machine guns, and there's going to be a little bit of an intermission here. No, there isn't. There's going to be more stuff. So now we've got the 40mm guns, all of which are basically the same, except for their rate of fire and their reload. You'll see 300 kinetic damage, 5 armor piercing, 89 explosive damage, 600 meters per second shot velocity. Same over here, and same over here. The difference is the magazine size. So magazine capacity for the twin is 16, 9-second reload. For the quad, it's 32, 13-second reload. And for the octuple AA gun, the pom-pom, it is 200 with a 30-second reload. So it's quite a big difference. So let's just go over here and just plaster things all willy-nilly. What do we want? Let's do... We can actually build some stuff over here, can't we? Let's do that. Let's put the pom-pom right here with some tasteful shaping, because that's funny. Tasteful shaping, tasteful shaping. Gonna put a local weapon controller right here. Definitely not exposed at all. Definitely just fine. Let's put pom-pom right there. Pom-pom. And we're gonna set like this so it doesn't get too confused. Perfect. And then we're gonna have an asymmetric... We're gonna have asymmetric little AA guns over here, like so. It's gonna be very nice. I'm not even bothering to set altitude limits on these, am I? Probably should. Right, let's do that. And let's do this. Did I remember to do that on all the other ones? Probably not. And we're just gonna do this. So we're gonna have a twin on the left. Gonna have a twin on the left, and we're going to have a quad on the right. Very good. Asymmetry is good for your brain. And just for giggles, let's set the azimuth to be negative 45 degrees. And we're going to set this to be 45 degrees. Oh, we are so secure against anti-air. It is a damn miracle we can even float. Alright, spawn in the duster. Here it comes. We got the 40mm stuff going bang, bang, bang. And they're actually doing a really good job. Those, particularly the pom-pom, just actually vaporizes deep water guard stuff really well. Problem is, it is kind of expensive. It's 4,000 materials a pop. Okay, now comes the intermission before we wiggle our way down here. The tactical nuke. you might be wondering what this does, and I will be happy to demonstrate for you what this does. It explodes. So the tactical nuke is a deceptively simple block. It's literally just a block that explodes for an absolutely silly amount of HE damage. It does 500,000 explosive damage. If it's destroyed, it will be set off. And there's no one better to demonstrate this than Rambot. Well, I should have placed the block closer, but I'm not going to. Alright, so here I am with my pistol. What's the worst that could happen? Rambot is missing a nuke at... Don't mind me. Don't mind... Where is it? Where's it? Where's the frickin' avatar inventory? What do I want? Blunderbuss it is. Hello? Wow, I cannot hit this thing at all. Ah! Minigun it is! Huh? Interesting. Apparently you can't... That's better! Deacon's Christmas! What does the world come to when I cannot set off my own nuclear weapon by shooting at it at point-blank range? My goodness. Like, really now. What is this world coming to? I thought we had freedom. Anyway, that's not really the way you're supposed to use the uke. The uke? The nuke. I am just going to hide this, and I'm going to show you what a nuke craft actually looks like once you've built one. So we're going to spawn in the Marauder, and then we're going to spawn in the current nuclear weapon that I like to use. It is called the Metalhead. Where is it? There it is. So this thing is decoed all to hell, so I'm just going to remove the deco, like so. This is what it looks like. So, they're possibly not the best nuke in the entire world, but it's got various nasty tricks on it. This is pretty simple. It flies at the target, collides with it, and then explodes. The actual mechanics of how it does that, it uses the default charge behavior. I was faffing around with other behaviors, but this should do the trick. Zooms along, like so, is amphibious because steam jets. I hope you remember steam jets from last time, we talked about them. And actually acts a little bit like a torpedo, and impales itself on the Marauder and goes kablooey. So that's kind of how you're supposed to use nukes. It is for suicide vehicles, because by gum, do they commit suicide on things. But you can also be silly with them, and we like silly a lot. So, what we're gonna do here is a silly thing. How much do we need there? We don't need that much. We don't need that much. So we're going to put a tactical nuke right in here, and it is deceptively 2 blocks long. And we're going to put an ACB in here that when the host vehicle is below a certain health, let's see, health, if we're between 0 and, let's say, 56% health, target an action, it's going to fire the weapons. So we're just going to have to test that somehow, aren't we? Or we can test it and just set that to like so. It is controlling 1 block. Perfect. So now we're just going to... What can we do here? We need to do enough damage to this thing that that we can be sure that works. And first I'm going to save it, because of course I am. I'm going to save it in the correct folder. That is of course what we're going to do. There we go. Alright, tool belts. I need you. I'm going to get the explosion tool. I'm going to set that to 50,000, 30. I'm going to blow this thing up from the front. Let's see what happens. 98%, 92%, 88, 58, 82. Stop preparing, please. Alright, and blow the booty off a little bit. There we go. Yay! It worked! Oh, that's fun. Simple weapons can be very fun. Okay then. So, let's just ignore it for the fact that we blew up our own thing, and we can move on from the nuclear weapons. And then we're going to go backwards along here. We've got the autocannons. So you've got the 30mm rotary autocannon with a very fast rate of fire, and you've got the 60mm autocannon, less rate of fire but better muzzle velocity and kinetic damage per shot. So 300 damage, 4 armor piercing, 450 muzzle velocity versus 500 damage, 4 armor piercing, and 500 muzzle velocity. Okay then, so we need to demonstrate that. Let's see, where can we possibly put this in a way that makes sense? This is a very laggy thing. Please stop lagging. Please stop lagging this instant. I might need to restart the designer, because otherwise from the depths is like, oh, what happened? Alright then. Save the cookies, there we go. We're just gonna put a pair of autocannons on the front, because that is fun, and we like that. Let's do it like... Let's do it like so, let's do it like so, let's do it like so. I'm gonna put nice wedges out on the front here, because that's funny. And once again, extremely well armored. Little weapon controllers. An entire 3 meters of alloy. Perfect armor. It's not perfect armor. Alright, so. These autocannons basically need 2-axis turrets in order to be useful at all. They can't move on their own. So I'm going to put a 60mm one over there, set it to there. I'm going to set that to group 4, I guess. And we're going to set the turret restrictions like so. I'm being horribly inconsistent with my turret, with my azimuth restrictions. So like so. And if I do 4, you can see, hold on. 4 and 4 and these things are loud as hell. So that is the 1 turret, and I'm going to set this like azimuth, not azimuth, azimuth of 20, height of 10. Very useful. And going to take that over here, placeholder, put it over there. Change some things, yes. And replace it with the other gun. But we've got a problem here. This, oh, it does attach like this. So there's a fun thing about the way these guns attach. The 60mm autocannon does not attach to things from the rear, but the 30mm autocannon does attach things from the rear. So that's a handy distinction to make. And the rotary one fires way faster in a long burst like so, and then takes a long time to reload. So it's got about a 7-second reload time, but I have the magic of the designer. I can hit reload all, and hopefully that does the trick. And what is the maximum range of these things? Let's just double check. Max range is 2,250. I'm just going to set them both to be like that. So 250. And like that. Setting it all like that. And we're going to turn on God mode, and we're going to shoot at the duster again. Give the detection a moment to have a little bit. Okay, hold on. I need to turn off the lasers. Lots of bullets are great fun. So you see that those rounds are not doing a hell of a lot. But at short range, they actually can maul things kind of effectively. Bang, 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 bang. And now we've got the death spiral going. So these things can work as seawers. Like, I actually imagine that against slower missiles and stuff like that, they can work pretty well. I personally don't use them as seawers because, well, once you get the hang of advanced cannons, you don't really need to do this. This is a weird boat we've made here. Okay then, so now we get on to the interesting stuff. We get onto the custom shell simple weapons. So starting off with, we have the 60mm grenade launcher. So when you place this fella, where shall we place this? Let's put it, where shall we put it? Let's put this guy right over here because he's a funny, funny boy. And again, you actually don't need a turret block for this. So we can just put him right here. And we can just have this and put him right here. And this is controlled. If we set him to 5, we'll see that he is not steering. Why are you not steering? Interesting. I think the reason this guy is not moving is because we haven't actually given him a shell yet, but we can double check that probably. Right, so we need to give it a shell. So this is advanced cannons before you even learn advanced cannons. If you go over here to APS shell selection, you can set like, this is a bit of a sneak preview of advanced cannons. You'll see that there's customizers down here, and if you have a firing piece, you can actually, if you have an intake on here, you can create shells from within the intake. But we're not going to worry about that for now, because we can create a shell from right here. Create a new built-in shell. The shell in the ammo controller is too long for the weapon. So going back to the 60mm grenade launcher, the max shell length is 0.3 meters. The caliber is 60. So 60, it can only fire a 60mm shell that is at max length of about 1/3 of a meter. So, bearing that in mind, let's right-click and edit this. So, 60 meters, you'll see the shell length is over there. We need to shorten this till it's about 3, something like this, like a little bit less than that. So we're just gonna go just a frag head, like so. Range is pretty bad, so we're gonna actually be cunning and do this, and I'm going to stick a grav compensator on this. So, in case anyone's wondering, the grav compensator helps compensate for like the gravity on the shell, but it also greatly improves the range of shells. Let's actually see if that works better there. Right, go ahead. Nope. So that's only 594 meters. We could add one more. And one more. 300 meters. I'm going to stick a grav compensator on there. So now this has a range of about almost 3,000 meters, which is pretty good. I'm going to set that to 2,800 meters, like so, and like so. Set that as well, and we need to actually click, 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 click. And click, apply. There we go. Now let's see. So now that it's loaded, it can aim, and it fires shells. Like so. Very nice. Bearing in mind this thing has a 60-second reload time, which is a little bit riddicky-dink. We don't like that. We don't like that at all. So let's spawn in the Marauder at about 3,000 meters, and we should be able to see our little grenade launcher fire. Apparently the reload all thing does not work for this little guy. I have a plan, do not worry. Did that work? Never mind, it didn't work. Okay, let's try that again. 2,700, please work. And kablooey! Very inaccurate. We love that. Neat! We are doing almost no damage. Because the dispersal on those grenades is actually kind of bad. Whoopsie daisy. We're actually doing more damage with the AA guns. Wow, that's a funny boat. It almost looks like real boat. Bless its cotton socks. I need to duct tape roll control on that thing. I can already tell it's going to roll around like crazy. Alright, so that's the grenade launcher. Now we got 2, well, technically 3-in-1 guns. We got the Type A 3.7-inch gun. So, this is... What is the caliber? This is a 94mm anti-aircraft gun. 2,000 materials a pop. Better than these options, by the way, because you can stick custom shells on them, which is very nice. This one is basically the same, it's just, let's see here, it is heavier and has more health and armor. That's the only real difference. So, let's go, where shall we put this? We have not got much room here, so what can we do? wait, I know what we can do. Casement guns are casement guns for a reason. So, we're going to have, right in the middle here, we're going to have, where do we want this? We want it here, and we want asymmetry, because asymmetry is fun. Right, so same diff. We can actually stick that shell in here, because if we go here and set it to 94 millimeters, that's an okay shell, it's not bad at all. However, if you can see here, the max length of the shell is about 0.76 meters, and at 94 millimeters, let's see if this works, that is perfectly acceptable. In fact, not ideal. You would want a longer shell for realsies with this particular simple weapon, but it'll work just fine. It'll work just fine for now, for demonstration purposes. So now we got there. It's not controlled by AI. No worries. We will deal with that in a hot second. In a hot, sexy second. AI will go here, and we will do that, and we don't really need to worry about the range at all, because that'll be a-okay. And we are going to spawn in the Marauder again at about, that distance. Why not? So these things do not need to be put on turret blocks, but it can help, because that does improve their accuracy considerably. Or improves their turning speed, I should say. You'll notice the accuracy is bad. That is because our detection is bad, and these shells are kind of slow for shooting at something from this distance. We are actually doing kind of nice damage, though. Okay, then. So now we need casemates, and I just remembered that casemates work in a certain way, and it's very good. So now we have the Type L and the Type LE casemated gun, and just as casemates we can do, we're going to duct tape them into the sides here, which is going to be very funny. In fact, we can duct tape them in a way that they're still controlled by this. So let's go 2, 3, and let's see, how well does this work? Not well. We can do better. Wait. Ooh, wait. Brain has been activated. Brain is activated! I'm experiencing thought! My goodness. Great, so there we have the gun. I've actually never used these damn things as casemates in my life. In my life, I have not. Right, thought was experienced, thought has been dismissed, and we're going to stick this casemate gun like... Where are we going to stick it? We're going to stick it here. No, we're not. We're going to do better than that. We're going to do better than that. We're going to do better than that. We simply must do better than that. Oh, look how casematey this gun is. Very casematey indeed. Because we are extremely lazy, we need to do this, and we need to do this, and we need to do this, and we need to do this, so this gun looks casematey properly. This doesn't look like the most casematey gun. There are, for the record, I am not an expert at all at building like realistic type ships of any kind. So if you want actual realistic casemates, this is probably not the best place to be looking. What were you doing? So this is 130 millimeters, and let's see, yes. That'll do nicely. Just going to... There's too many local weapon controllers. These things are expensive, by the way. They add up quite a bit. Let's do that, and then 130 millimeters is going to be... have a very good range indeed, and then over here, we're just going to set up marker size. Let's just set it up like that. Perfect. Copy, paste over here. Flip azimuth. Perfect. And now we can select our shell. So, apply. Beautiful. And that should be there working. Like so. Beautiful. Let's see if that works by spawning the Marauder, like over there. And there's the casemate doing casematey things. Are we hitting the Marauder at all? We probably need to set... What's the range on this? Oh dear, effective range is 1,200 meters. Let's set that to 1,000 meters, because otherwise, these piddly little machine guns are going to waste ammunition, and that simply will not do. This is definitely a boat of some kind. Right, now to put the bigger casemates on the other side. So these larger ones are, well, they're 150 millimeters, and they fire 2 shells at once. So these are arguably better in basically every single way, but they cost about $1,000 more each. So that's, well, that is the ball game, unfortunately. They're also taller. 3, and whoops. Let's go here, here, here. Let's see, how do you look, sir? You look like that. That looks ugly. I don't like that. What if we did this? What if we did this? What if we really sank you into that hole? Yeah, let's do that. Yep, this is totally how guns work. This is totally how guns work. This is totally how guns work. This is totally how casemates work. These things are also kind of cheesy sometimes. They can kind of poke their barrel straight through blocks. So if I do this, for instance, this thing can still aim and fire. It's just the failsafes might be a little bit funky. Right, so we've done that, and we're gonna do this. Remember, we had that already equipped. And flip azimuths, right? Like so. Could have stuck the shell on. And again, there's a max length shell here. Max shell length is about 1.8 meters, so you can stick a almost 2-meter shell in these babies, which is very convenient. Unfortunately, we're not doing that today because lazy. Ooh. Hey Ma, look what I can do. Local weapon controllers that are actually EMP insulated. Never mind, we can't do that. Yes, we can. I just did it. Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. There we go. Yeah, I forgot to set the altitude requirements on the things. Alright, so now I am going to slap a behavior on this. Actually, I'm going to mess with this a little bit because I must. There we go. So you'll notice this is actually kind of an expensive graph for how horribly ineffective it's going to be. That's kind of the point. It's going to be a hilarious little fella. Hilarious little fella, I say. And it technically has every simple weapon on it, which is very, very nice. What did I even miss? Alright, we need to... Well, first thing that I need to do... First thing I need to do is put my phone on silent. Okay then, now we need to set a behavior, and the behavior is going to be extremely simple. It is going to circle very close to things, close in like so, so we actually can get close to things. In 45 degrees, this is actually my default broadside behavior because it just seems to work kind of well. There are risks involved. Serious risks. And first we need to see if we can take on a Marauder. So this is, alright, we're officially at the, we are going to be silly portion of the video, in case that wasn't already very clear. Just gonna duct tape some roll control onto this, because that's a good idea. That is a good idea. I like ideas like this. And roll to left, and roll to right. And we're going to stick some pitch control in the front, because things need pitch control. Going to also stick some pitch control in the back, because that is a good idea too. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful, I say. Now go forth and marauder kill. Wait a minute. Are we going to get that lovely broadside? And there is that cram shell coming in and whiffing horribly. Whee! Actually want to set this a little bit more aggressive. Let's set it to 35. And now we need to speed up time a little bit, because why did I spawn that 2,000 meters away? That was very silly. We also get to see if the nuke goes off well. Alright, we're too far. Alright. Right, Age of Sail guns should be firing at any moment now. Any moment now, I say. Oh, I didn't even look at the casemates firing. 1,200 meters. Why are you not firing? There you go. And Marauder has missed still. Hooray! We are beating the Marauder. Very good. Very, very good. And the rams and the drills, in this particular case, are mostly just emotional support. Alright, this formidable beast needs camouflage. So while we're here, we're just going to stick some camouflage. Camo. Night. 1. Beautiful. It is a stealthy beast. For stealthy purposes. Where are you going? Oh, the blast gun. Bless its cotton socks. Yay! Look at us steaming ahead like crazy. We're actually doing a crap ton of damage. That is pretty funny. Whee! We beat the Marauder! But now comes our real test. Now we must beat the Crossbones. Can you do it, little fella? Can you do it? We believe in you! Right, where is the Crossbones? There it is. Alright, so, bearing in mind, you're not going to see the nuke going off because this thing is definitely going to win. Especially at this range. Or the Crossbones could immediately trigger the nuke anyway, and... That was even better than I thought it would be. Alright. So, simple weapons. They have their place, but mostly their place is something to tide new players over while they're still figuring other stuff out. They are expensive for what they're actually capable of, but they are generally very compact. And if you're making very small designs, they can work pretty well. So, there is that. But we're going to be talking about more advanced weapon systems in future build menu walkthroughs. And in the meantime... oh my goodness. Oh, that was really funny. I regret nothing. So thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Support me on Patreon or YouTube membership if you like. It really helps. And there's fun perks in it for you. Like access to a Patreon exclusive Discord where you can hang out with me and other cool people. We can rag on simple weapons together. And at higher tiers, I will inspect your craft for you, build craft for you, or even do art for you. I am working on making a public art portfolio so people can actually see what I can do. We'll keep you updated on that. Also a stream on Twitch. We are working our way through making a custom campaign. Can't complain. Can't complain at all. We can't complain about Plutono because it's going to be very good. Uh-oh. Well then. That honestly didn't do as much damage as I thought it would. Oh, the blast gun. Bless its cotton socks. Oh dear. You know what they say about friendly fire? It isn't. Oh, if you actually manage to ram, that's going to be hilarious. In any case, have a good one. Remember to use simple weapons responsibly. Just duct taping drills onto the side of your steamboat ironclad is perhaps not the best idea. And I will see you next time in From the Depths, the build menu walkthrough. Farewell. Did you want the American Civil War aesthetic or the Viking era aesthetic? Yes, and every other aesthetic too.